Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pitch Please.
Whoa!
Whoa! Nice. The
Pitch
podcast
Please.
where people who play games pitch ideas to people who make them. Isn't that right, Tom?
It is right. That's me. I'm stadium announcer man today. Whoa!
Oh my God, you're doing a Mexican wave.
Bowling.
Good job.
I don't know how sport works.
As always, co-host Pitch Goblin, artist. Is that it?
What about
Thomas Hazel?
What about Pitch? Have we had Pitch Wizard before?
No, I don't think we have actually. Pitch Wizard. Okay.
I think recently we've
Pitch
had
Sorcerer.
we've had a load of guests, so I'm kind of pitch unemployed right now.
Pitch unemployed. Okay.
Yeah.
Pitch useless. Tom Hazel.
That's me.
As always, we have resident dev Chris Yules.
Hello, I'm Chris, Brunch Club developer and Wuthering
God, you
Heights
sound-
choreographer, Chris Yules.
Wow.
Okay, brilliant. Nice. The energy went up then. And again, we're on a roll. We're on a roll recently with guests. We have a very special guest, Mark Humes.
Oh,
Very, very special. That's
Very
I'm
special,
blessed.
yeah.
Blessed.
extremely special
That
guest.
wasn't a compliment. No, okay, it makes sense actually. Hello.
Sorry, that caught me off guard. Oh, so loud.
That's yeah. I mean, you should be used to me by now, Tom. The amount of
I am.
loud intros I often do.
Old Marky Humes, Dungeon Master of High Rollers, which I am also in,
Lol.
and
Yeah,
D&D.
competing podcast that is not really any competition whatsoever.
Nepotism.
Because
Yeah. And today
Yeah.
you've got a hot, brand spanking hot, spanky, hot, wow, hot game idea. Cut half of
So
those.
usually before we start this, Tom and I will know what the pitch is, but
Well.
I don't know. Tom, do you?
This hasn't been vetted, no. So this
Not
episode
been
won't go
vetted
out.
at all.
Unvetted.
It might not
So
even
this
come
might-
out.
This
This
podcast might not. Yeah, it might not go out. It might be awful. It might be offensive.
It
To
might
be honest,
be.
it could be. It could very well be less offensive because of any kind of political reasons, more just because it's awful. It's just really bad and not
Well,
funny.
great.
To the ear.
Well,
That's what we do best here.
Yeah, that's something
exactly.
we can fix. But all we know is that this is an idea for the 15-year-old Mark. So can we
Right,
have a tour
let
of
me-
your 15-year-old
well-
pitch hole?
Right, let me set the scene in a sense, because you got to take in mind that this pitch comes from an era of gaming, right? You've got to keep that in mind when I pitch it to you. You got to remember
Right.
that this is a
Yeah.
game effectively from like 15, 13 years ago, right?
Right, okay, so what games would have come out either side of this?
I don't know actually.
Final Fantasy VII.
Something like that. You're talking about like Half-Life 1 era, right? Okay, keep that in mind.
Okay, okay.
Right.
cool.
Okay. And I'm going to set the scene for you. I don't want to just pitch this as like, it's kind of like blah blah blah. I don't want to do that. I want to set the scene. I want to
Right.
I want to sell it to you. Okay.
All right, where are we?
I'm impressed.
All right.
Already.
We're in America. It could be anywhere, but it's probably somewhere like New York or LA. Let's be honest. Right.
Okay, yeah.
You play as AAA game hero male character. Let's call him Adam Phoenix. You play as Adam Phoenix. Right?
Nice. Okay.
The newest rookie on the police bomb squad, right? It's your first day on the job when the call comes in. You can't believe it. A terrorist cell has attacked a major airport. They've rigged explosives to the whole place and they've got hostages. You're being sent in with a SWAT team, right? But somehow the terrorists know you're coming. The SWAT team's wiped out and Adam Phoenix is the only one left. He's unarmed, he's alone. But damn it, he's not going to give up. He'll use his advanced engineering skills, an array of jury-rigged gadgets and weapons, stealth and tactics to overcome the enemy and stop the terrorists. It's Die Hard meets Half-Life 2 meets Deus Ex meets Metal Gear 2.
Okay.
It's-
Look,
Go on, ask your
sorry,
questions.
sorry,
get
you're
your
still going,
questions
you're
in.
still going.
No. No,
Well,
you-
let him finish.
Okay, all right. Right. It's an FPS, but guns, they're your last resort. Adam's a nervous rookie. His aim's terrible when you start playing, but the more you shoot, the more comfortable he gets, and the better with an aim he has. Crowbars, wrench, please, son, they're for other game heroes. Adam starts with a screwdriver. Inventory system. Adam's vest and belt can only hold so many things. You need to juggle all your inventory of components and gadgets and gizmos, and you can only take so much with you. Traps and environment. You can create traps by hiding electrical cables in pools of water, turn light switches into bomb. There are air ducts and physics. I haven't explained the physics any more than just physics would be in the
There's
game.
physics.
It's like the title of this whole game, Livewire. It's also the name of a Pierce Brosnan movie, which I'm pretty sure I got all of the ideas of the game from.
So
Wait.
we've already got our celebrity endorsement.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, I think we need a round of applause for probably the best pitch we've ever had.
Well,
that was
is
incredible.
The problem is,
regardless of what the game is,
Yeah.
problem
that's
is
well
he's
done.
broken down all the mechanics already, and we
Well,
don't have
no,
anything to do. That's it. That was a really short episode.
We need
done.
to.
6
It needs to
minutes.
be built on, right? You can't just like this is the ravings of a 15-year-old loser. Like this
Yeah,
needs to be
okay.
tempered. This is
Well-
the steel that needs to be forged.
Yeah, it's true. Well, straight away, like the story, this is a that sort of era game, right?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
Did the first Deus Ex come out around this time as well? Because that's what I was imagining to begin with, right? Like,
First Deus Ex was like 97, I think. So that would have been 23 years ago now. Can you imagine?
Fuck me.
oh my
Shit.
god.
Yeah.
In my
But
head, it was
that-
like
yeah.
that, but with Siege.
Yeah,
Rainbow
yeah.
Six
That's
Siege.
this is it, right?
Like
This is
trap
why this
placement
game would be a
and-
bot. This would
Right.
be amazing. It's all of the favorite things from like modern games and old games combined. It's
Well, that's the thing.
ambitious.
I was thinking if this was, let's say we had a 15-year-old Mark and this was 1996 and
Right,
he was
yeah.
pitching this idea, there is no way this game would get made at that time because it's too ambitious, right?
It's got physics.
Yeah. Physics.
You could do everything. Like, oh my god. The other thing I wanted to have in this when I was a kid was like a
VR.
dynamic. VR exactly. You are Adam Phoenix in the airport moving around. But no, I wanted it to have like dynamic VO. So like as like depending on the style of game you play, Adam's character changes. So like if you're like more about traps, then he's more like one-liners and like John McClane-esque. Whereas if you like go around shooting everybody, he gets more aggressive and sort of shouty.
Holy
So
I thought that would
that's
be
something
rad.
that they do in like Rockstar are quite good at that. I've not really seen that in other
Oh,
games.
really?
But, like your character, from what I remember in playing like Grand Theft Auto 5 and especially Red Dead Redemption 2 recently, your character tends to react to things that you're like if you
Yeah.
aggressively run into someone with a horse, he's like, get out of the way.
Yeah.
And he's kind of an asshole about it.
Whereas if you gently
but
bump
it's like-
them, he's like, "Excuse me, ma'am," or "Sorry about
Good
that."
day. Exactly.
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure the
yeah.
same thing happens. The police come after you, and a horse
It
dies.
doesn't matter. It's about
And-
the immersion, Chris Yules.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in my head,
Right, go on.
have any of you played? What is it called? Why have I just immediately Dead Rising?
yes.
Right.
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
I
So
am
you're
struggling to see
you're
the
stuck
link.
in a shopping mall, right?
Yeah, well, this
Yeah.
is the
So
zombie
So imagine
one, isn't
that,
it?
but airport.
Yeah.
Right, so it's
Yeah.
open world enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like,
Or maybe
so in
like a
Dead Island-
skyscraper.
But have you
No,
said
no,
airport
it's
already?
airport. It's an airport, Tom. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Listen to
I'm
that,
just-
that flavor text. That
Maybe you're wearing a
thinking
vest.
Beautiful intro.
What Die Hard is this?
Die Hard
Airport
2.
edition.
It's
Yeah.
Die Hard 2, absolutely.
I know. I
It's
was just
100%.
saying. I think it should
So-
be Die Hard 1.
In Dead Island, you can go wherever you want, but at certain points you get like a phone call or a message, and they take you to each part of the map anyway. But you can also craft weapons and craft explosives and things like that. So I'm thinking maybe that's how you do it. There's like the list of the big heavies who are like you try to take down Ivan.
The terrorist
He's
leaders. Yeah.
There's
yeah.
always a night, yeah.
Yeah.
And you can take them off one by one, but you do it in certain orders because you know like hey, give me another Russision name. I've gone blank on Russian.
Vladov.
Peter Vladov. Yeah.
Peter.
Vlad has taken hostages,
Piotr Vladovson.
and so you got to go rescue the hostages. So you can do it like kind of a blend of Siege and Dishonored. So there's
Yeah.
the loud route. There's the stealth.
Oh my
route.
god, hang on. So wait. So in your pitch you had Metal Gear.
Right, in the pitch, it's Die Hard meets Half-Life meets Deus Ex meets Metal Gear 2 Sons of Liberty, which is very much a big part of, again, the inspiration, probably.
And then Chris, you've said Dead
Rising.
Dead Rising.
Siege and
But swap zombies for terrorists.
Yeah.
okay.
But I think like
It's
all of the
games.
things these have in common, right? It's one location. The story's
My
taking
head.
place in one location. Tom's losing. Tom's got a nosebleed.
Oh my god.
It's like an anime.
It's
character.
all-
One,
it's
like
crumbling.
in Sons of Liberty, it's the oil rig, right?
Exactly.
Is that right?
Big shell.
And that's
big
that
shell.
again. That's based off. We were talking about this the other day. Actually, the Snake Plissken Escape from New York.
Yeah.
That's like. So it's all like one badass stuck in a place trying to fight his way out.
It's the Die Hard method, right? Like Die Hard it set up that genre of movie in Hollywood, right? Like your Under Sieges, your Cliffhanger, all of that stuff came after Die Hard. And then in games, that became a thing as well. Like you are white male protagonist stuck in a place, and there's a problem, and you need to go and solve it in
terrorists.
some way. And then the thing for me is I wanted a game where the hero starts off as this nerdy bomb squad guy who's like really good at engineering but can't fight. And then the more you do, like the more of an action hero he becomes by the end of the
Okay, this is
thing.
perfect. This is a mechanic that we can work on right now. Is
Right,
this
yeah.
an RPG? Are you imagining where you get level to level and you level them up and you level up his stats?
I figured
Or-
skill tree, right? Like you have like the skill tree, and then the more you invest in it, like you've got like the slice, like almost you could theme them around action movie heroes, right? You could have the John McClane path, the Arnold Schwarzenegger path, and then like I don't know, yeah, like something like that, like some other like famous like the Keanu Reeves path or whatever. And each one is tailored to a different thing. So like Arnie's path is just all about guns and shooting and bombs and explosions. Like the John
I
McClane
fucking
path.
love the idea that you can start off as like this completely nerdy bomb squad guy, and then in the space of what is like the world time of maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
You're John Wick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's video games,
But that
right?
sounds
Like,
great.
and
But
like
that sounds
imagine.
Sorry,
Wait, I've got an ending. I've got the ending to the game.
Go on.
The
my
reason
God.
this engineer is so good, he's a sleeper agent. Has been this entire time.
And he's
Like for like the CIA or something like that.
Yeah, and
John
his activation
Wick.
so he's not
word was,
learning
little
skills;
brother.
he's remembering them.
he's remembering them.
Remembering them.
So his
Yes.
activation word is Peter Vladivson,
Yeah.
which is the name of the bad guy. And that's why he's
Okay.
learning it.
What was
Okay,
that?
so
So
the good
the-
thing is, instead of cardboard boxes to hide in, it's suitcases.
Suitcase.
Just big luggage cases.
Yeah.
And that's
got
how you
little wheels
travel.
and you just-
you use like the little escalator things,
Well,
the little
the
runway
thing is,
things. to
in
move
an
around
airport,
there.
there's lots of different zones, right? You've got
Yeah.
the shopping bit, you've got all the behind the scenes stuff.
Right. The level design
Duty-free.
speaks for itself.
Shoverman through an X-ray machine, all the good
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
Like then you've got all the back end bit, like all the baggage area with all the conveyor belts. Like imagine what a cool like fight you could have, like a really good stealth mission where you're moving around like all the conveyor belts, like making traps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Then
so
you've
like
got
in
like the big
Siege,
shopping area. Yeah,
Where
exactly.
You,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have the metal detectors. You could do the same thing. You could throw something, throw a metal detector, and there's like, huh?
Do
And
you
they
think?
turn around, yeah.
Do you think a metal detector would go off if you fired a bullet through it?
No.
Oh,
No, it's
hang
too
on,
quick.
I'm gonna have to find out.
quick.
Though.
Tom is going to Google this.
So
If
what I
you-
wanted to, while you're looking up, what I wanted to say before we get off it was the like the improvement aspect of it, getting better at certain parts,
Yeah.
like fighting or stealth or whatever. But the game, I think that's probably key to making it like potentially
Different.
like, really really fun and very different
Yeah.
and varied. But like
So-
for me, what I find is that with games where you're putting points into stuff and it's like you're getting better at aiming or whatever, it's always very frustrating to the player, right? When the game forces you to not
Be
be very
bad.
good at aiming to begin with, and so maybe is it more of like a if you play God of War, like a skill tree where it's like you're not necessarily having like putting points into something where it's just making you better at aiming. You are unlocking new abilities. So maybe
Yeah.
to begin with, you can't even hold a gun.
Yeah.
You can't. Even,
That's
like,
true.
point-
That may be
How
that
did you
aim.
make it through training?
Well, he's a bomb squad. He's bomb squad.
Yeah,
you
he
know?
What do I
doesn't need to
do?
fire weapons.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like and as you go through, you can say, okay, I want to shoot guns, so I'm going to unlock the ability to aim an MP5.
Yeah, and you
Or to
can
shoot an
unlock the
MP5.
different thing. The other idea I had when I was a kid about this was the idea of like, because in video games, like heroes just kill people and then it's just like nothing happens. Like in Uncharted, Nathan Drake literally kills off 1 billion people and is just making jokes about it.
Yeah, just
so I had
shrugs
this
it off,
idea
yeah.
of like, what if there was like a
Prick.
stat that you could level up where like the first time you have to kill a man as Adam, like he's like violently sick and like you're stumbling all over the place, and like for a moment you have this like period where you can't really do anything properly, and it'll be like cutscene or whatever. But then as you level up, you can unlock like where you can like stomach it better. Like you have like a stomach level where you're like, okay, now I can like deal with it a bit better or something like that.
Right.
So
That
you have
taps
like
into
you
my
can-
favorite mechanic.
Yeah, go on.
It's
which
like
is
a remorsometer.
Yeah.
Or effectively a sanity meter.
Yeah.
Where you have something that's stopping you
Unbelievable.
from, like,
Another game with a sanity meter.
I think it's a brilliant idea. Mark
So-
has nailed it.
I like the
Imagine
idea
like
of
you
the
had
skill
like
tree
points,
stuff.
like bips, and each
But-
bip is a person you can kill. And then after that, you're like,
Yeah.
That was
Oh, I love it.
that was lovely to see on webcam. The thing is, I think the way to do it is how Elder Scrolls does it. So the more you do that thing, the more you
Yeah.
get
Yes,
points.
so
into
I was
that
gonna
thing.
say-
remember like in Oblivion or Morrowind, you just jump everywhere. You like get
because it
acrobatics
leveled
up
your
and you're like,
athletics. Yeah.
and then
yeah.
So I think the more you use it, and then you can unlock perks and things within that. So
True,
like,
yeah.
hey, I'm using one-handed guns. Okay, so I've leveled up that. Now I can. My reload time is reduced because I know
Yeah,
how to
so-
reload that stuff better.
To add 2 more games to this mix of
Right, okay.
a million different games. Well, actually, super quick. I've got an update on the metal detector thing.
Oh,
no
perfect.
idea.
Beep, 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 beep.
I've got no clue. Right,
All right,
so to add-
Mythbusters, get on it.
yeah, please do. But 2
They're
more
not
games to add to
gunning
the
anymore,
mix.
but yeah, sure.
Far Cry 3, the character you play, Jason Brody, he is exactly like that, where he is just some random like
Nobody.
Valley Girl style like vacationer who gets thrown into this. And the first time you kill someone in that, it's amazing. It is a cutscene thing, but it's like he's hesitating and yeah. But then the rest of the game, he's just like slicey dicey, killy shooty.
Then he's like, "Oh, I've got a tattoo now. I could bite bullets out my arm."
Yeah,
Oh,
but Far Cry 3 is the same kind of thing where that character goes through that progression, and by the end of the game, he's a totally different character. It's awesome. No, what is it? Not Metal Gear. Medal of Honor, Airborne, which is a very old game, did a level up system with every gun you used. So,
Right.
like the M4 Garand, if
God.
you used that a lot, then your reload time became
M4
quicker.
Garand.
Is that not the one? M1.
so.
M1.
Yeah,
The M4 is an assault. There's just a really quick bolt action
Oh, right.
assault
It's
rifle.
the, it's the
Chris,
M1.
Yeah,
M1.
M1 Garand, yeah, it is.
M4?
Yeah.
You mean M1?
Idiot.
You mean the M5 cannonball, idiot? The M1 Garand.
He's showing us a weapon on the
His
webcam.
Lego gun.
Yeah,
Just
the more
just
you
to
use
quickly
it,
check. Tom,
that you reload quicker. Yeah, go.
I'm writing up a list of the games. So we've got, so it was Die Hard, Half-Life, Deus Ex, Metal Gear 2, Dead Rising, Far Cry 3, Oblivion. Have I missed any?
Medal of Honor.
Siege? Did you say Siege?
Oh yeah,
Siege,
sorry. Siege.
Lego Worlds.
Lego Worlds, yep.
The actor Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan.
World of Warcraft.
Yep. World of Warcraft.
Oh, Deus
Yep.
Ex. Did you put Deus Ex in there?
Yep, got Deus Ex in there. Yep, got that one.
Okay,
Don't worry. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Okay.
I think that's all of them so far. Let's see if we can get any more in the mix because
We will. We will.
Nice.
This might be the ultimate game.
And
Right.
by the way, I've had the name since the start, and I'm saving it because it's.
So it's not Livewire anymore.
Well, that
It's-
is also
it's
the name of
better.
a movie, so we can't use that.
That's
better.
true.
Is that the Pierce Brosnan movie?
That is the Pierce Brosnan movie, yes, where he
Okay.
plays a bomb defusal expert, and the plot of that movie is that the bad guys create a bomb, like a liquid bomb that looks like water, and whenever people drink it, they explode. And then he has to, like,
Wasn't there a
it's
Jackie
so
Chan
bad.
movie? There was a Jackie Chan
Probably.
movie where it was the one where he wears this suit that turns him into a spy. Fuck, what was it called? And
The Tuxedo.
They drink the water. Tuxedo. That was
Yeah.
it.
It's exactly- Livewire was before the Tuxedo, just as a point.
Okay,
You know, they
but it
stopped
didn't
there.
make them explode. It shriveled
No,
them.
but I think the thing is I remember seeing that movie as a kid, and there's a scene in that movie. The movie's trash, but there's a scene in that movie where all the bad guys who are like corrupt cops or something like that come after Pierce Brosnan's character, and he's in like a house that he's renovating, and he basically MacGyvers all of these gadgets and like explosives because he's like a bomb expert. He knows how to make all of this stuff, and he does this thing
Right.
where he like makes like an explosive packet with like cling film and chemicals, puts it in a light switch, and then when the bad guy turns the lights on, it runs an electrical signal through the gel, and then it blows his arm off, basically. And I just remember thinking, I was like, that is the coolest fucking shit I have ever seen. That should be in a video game. I was like, that needs to be in a game. Imagine if you could do that, like, you know, like trap all the light switches, or like make the doors blow up and stuff like that. And then it's about luring the enemies.
Like in that case,
it's James Bond's Home Alone.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to an extent stop people, or like maybe kind of nudge people more towards using that stuff. Because I don't know about you, but I find in games when you have the option to either be a bit more interesting with combat, or be a bit craftier, or just run in and fucking shoot everyone.
You're gonna shoot
in. If it's a quicker way to do it, I'll just run in and shoot.
Yeah.
So
well, that's why I wanted there to be.
Well, that's people in that direction.
I wanted that kind of thing where you know, it's hard to get good with the guns because, you know, he is shit to start with, and then so there's this influence, and maybe it's like the inventory management as well. Like you can only carry so many like guns and bullets on you at one time, so it's kind of got that Resident Evil feel of like okay, I've got like 2 clips of ammo, but you know, I'm not going to be able to take... And also, like, that classic thing of, you know, games where it's, like, stealth games where it's like, if enemies find you, they like you can't take any hits and you're going to get riddled and stuff like that. So stealth is always the best option. I kind of felt like that would be the way to go. So Thief, that was the other game that it's all based on as well.
There you go.
Thief 2 Metal Age.
Yeah, add that one to the list.
I've added it.
Oh my god.
Nice.
What a
concoction. But I just thought that would be really cool. I always felt like movies like Home Alone and stuff like that, like anything to do with like traps and sneaking around was just, I loved that stuff as a kid. And I thought like that would be so, like more games having that stuff would be amazing.
Okay, but
yeah, like
you start with a screwdriver as well, right?
Yeah. That's how you kill your first guy, right? You've got to sneak up on him and in the neck.
No, not sneak up, because if you sneak up on him, then your character, then he's actively killing someone, right? You need to self-defense kill them.
Oh, yeah, so he comes at you and then he accidentally like falls back and like, jabs it into his neck or something like that. Oh, yeah.
His eye.
Yeah.
You pull it out and there's an eye on it.
He's like, oh my god, I've killed someone, and then you've got like the chief on the radio who's like, you got to deal with it, rookie. Like you're in the situation now. We're counting on you. You're the only one that can get out.
One left.
Radio. So,
is the opening of it more like Alien Isolation, where you're just trying to hide for a few minutes?
I think for like the very like only for the very first start, like 10 minutes or something like that, where you're just like, fuck.
Chris, sorry.
That's right. Tom always gives me. I know we've got webcams, but I know when he's looking at me, it's kind of weird because he gives me that look.
Great podcasting, Chris.
Thanks. It's purely audio. It's a really sexy look. I was thinking you could always. Do you know how in the classic films they pick up the bad guys' radios, right?
Yeah.
They listen in to like, so you could find out positions of certain characters that way.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, and you can learn like the classic trope of in video games. You learn the paths of the guard patrols, right? So you can pick things up that way. Or maybe however you store this in your own head, or you could maybe like you jot it down in like an in-game.
Maybe he's got like what's a photogenic memory or like photographic memory. So like anything he hears or learns, like he's like, I can create a mental map of the airport, and it's like, and that's your map system. Yeah, his mind palace basically.
That is a really great mechanic that I don't think I've seen used before in a game. Like Chris, with the idea of picking up the radio and but how would that work? Is it literally just like a dialogue system? Like someone's calling back to someone's like picking up, being like, "Who's here? What's going on? Hello, respond!" And you have to pretend to be.
I think that's definitely a thing you have to do. Yeah, like you can, or like you've just got the John McClane thing, right, where you've got the radio. And eventually they become aware that there's like an intruder, and like you can start to like chat shit to them, and like, because that's a way that you can build up a rapport with the boss, right? You can just do the classic Hans and John thing where it's just like, like, I know that you're there, Mr. Phoenix. I'm going to kill you the next time I see you. And it's just like, well, not if I see you first, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so this guy, the engineer.
Yeah, Adam Phoenix.
Adam Phoenix, the engineer.
I made that up today.
Bomb Squad engineer. Is he could also just hack into their like what's the word I'm looking for? When you use
Well,
main
here's the
brain,
thing, Tom.
the
What if
frequency.
let's think about this, right? What if we set it to like the 90s? So there's no like computers are like really basic computer systems. So like we don't have to
Okay.
worry about smartphones or hacking. But I do like the idea of like the bad guys' radios, like the different squads, because they're like a military unit. They've got different like codes in them. So you have to get somebody first, so you can get the code of the radio for that area, and then you can listen
Right.
into the radio chat. Right?
Right,
That
okay.
classic stealth mechanic.
So, I just because in my head I'm imagining different things.
Right.
Is
No.
it first person? Yeah.
No, in this, I've laid
this?
it out so beautifully.
This is first person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because okay, I'm gonna add another game to the list.
All right,
Just
yeah,
because
let's add it.
I
Yeah.
really like because obviously airports, different levels, different like there are different terrains within an airport.
Yeah.
I was just Dying Light parkour, kind of free roam. I feel like jumping
Right.
off of like the
He's-
second floor of the commercial bit in an airport terminal, just landing on someone or just throwing a suitcase off.
Adam
Nice.
Phoenix, he parkours in his spare
parkour.
time.
Yeah.
And at the start of the game, like maybe we see him parkour training before he's like, all right, it's
When he
time to
gets
go
the
to
call.
work.
No, there's a really, really garbage like character intro where we're like, the bomb's in there. Where's the bomb squad? And then he like vaults off a roof and is like, I'm here.
Yeah. Or they're like, nobody can jump across that gap, and he's like, I can. I do parkour on the weekends.
That's the reason he's the only one in there.
Yeah, because he parkours his way
He's
out.
the only one that can
He's
jump
the only
the
one
gap.
that can jump, and they've misplaced their ladder / other ways
Yeah.
of crossing small gaps.
Yeah, he has to get in through a window to let the SWAT team in. Like that's like a whole thing. That's like a tutorial
Yeah.
at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
Nice.
Now I'm gonna
Chris
add
just
another-
made a
I'm gonna
face.
add
I know
another-
it's an audio podcast, but Chris just went.
I really want to add another franchise to the mix.
Right. Yep.
Oh my god.
24.
Yeah. No, I
Right.
was thinking this like
That's what
visual
I was thinking of
style.
in the pitch.
Every
Yeah.
hour, just boop.
Yeah.
How do we
But
have,
you're like,
how do we
"Ah!"
have 24 in every pitch as well? Somehow?
Because it's
No,
so
it's
good.
Normally Men in Black.
But no,
Okay,
I thought for like a
yes.
visual style and that like sort of like 90s vibe, like 24 would be the kind of like, you know, the tone and very Metal Gear as well, and that kind of like action thriller, but probably made by a Japanese company, so they don't quite get it, and it's all based on movies
Yeah.
they've seen. Like that's the pitch.
Do you have a Chloe that you're talking to?
Oh, you have
directing
to,
you
right? You have to have a
information?
Chloe or a Mei Ling or somebody like that that's on like the radio
Yeah.
who's like your support. Maybe it's like your ex-girlfriend, but you're wanting to patch things up and like things between her and Anna have been
Nice.
pretty rough.
Now it's one of those dating sims.
I didn't
At the
say
same
that,
time,
Chris.
that's
we
the
could add
dialogue.
dating sim in. Let's
Let's
add
add it.
dating
Add
sim
dating
in
sim
as
in.
well.
It's like Dream Daddy, but
Yeah.
with
I
your
fucking
ex.
love that. Like every time you talk to her through the radio, like you know the little like PNG pop ups of the characters.
Yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
turns into a little.
It's like the
dating
codec.
sim.
Put the code. You know what people loved in
amazing.
Metal
Yeah, yeah.
Gear? Codec. Hour-long codec conversations. Put them in.
Yeah.
Let's get them in.
Yeah.
but with like the Japanese anime style characters.
Whoop. Yeah. They come up on the side of the
Just
screen.
really like over exaggerated expressions when you respond.
Yeah.
And if
so
you, and
it's
if you
like-
yeah, and if
it's
you
like
want to,
Fire
you can
Emblem
even
Three
flirt with the
Houses now.
chief. Sorry, Tom.
Oh, you can flirt with the chief.
Yeah, why
You
not?
really want that promotion?
Yeah,
So wait,
flirt with everyone.
is there an ending where
You can flirt with
you,
the bad
you
guy.
end up with Vladov?
Maybe,
Peters,
maybe that's the
whatever.
secret ending.
I do not want to fight anymore. I want to lie.
Oh, if you pick that ending, then you can do a new game plus, but as Tofu, like in Resident Evil.
Yeah, you play as a giant block of tofu or a giant fridge.
Oh my god.
But like, not even like dating sim jokes aside, like I love the idea of like having the like dialogue options, like you know, kind of dating sim-esque games, but it's just like the rivalry thing. So like, because like that's one of the things that makes Die Hard such an amazing movie is the relationship between John and Hans, even though they never meet,
Yeah.
like their exchanges. And imagine you had that in a game where you get to choose like the one-liners or you choose the dialogue options, and that influences things later on and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're
Like-
choosing the one-liners yourself. Yeah, that's a really great idea.
I think you've
And
got
also,
to,
like,
right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it just makes it like it increases that. Like you're saying, like it emboldens that relationship, strengthens it throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're constantly chatting to each other, and just Tom, you've just had an idea.
I've had a bad
Your
idea.
face. It's just
Go on.
Oh, that's
Okay.
a good one.
What if you are a kid who, in 2020, who watches a ton of action movies
Right, okay.
and then you fall into a VHS.
Like Last Action Hero.
And then you
another
fall
Arnold
in.
Schwarzenegger movie.
And then you're then trapped in an airport, and you are just recalling all these action movies and all these games that you've played.
That's pretty awesome. I love it. I love the Last
So
Action
how would
Hero
that work exactly? Repitch. Let's start the
Okay,
your pitch for it.
so the first Action Hero is a game in which you are a kid, they're like a teenager who watches a load of action movies, plays a lot of action games, tons of them. Siege, Rainbow Six, Dying Light,
Okay.
Dead Rising, all these other games. And then you fall into a game like Final Fantasy Tactics. You can write that one down. And then you have to survive a 90s era Russian siege by recalling all of your action hero
know-how.
know-how. Like you've got the Arnold, like you said, the Arnold Schwarzenegger tree. You've
Yep.
got the
Sly
Die Hard
Stallone,
tree.
and then and Bruce Willis tree.
Yeah, and
I feel like you need a John Wick in there. You need some gun fu.
It's a bit modern. It's a bit modern.
Well, it's not
Chris
80s,
Hills.
though.
but you're,
Exactly, 90s like terrorists. They will never see John
They're
Wick
not gonna,
coming.
yeah,
That's
they never
true.
see it's coming.
That's true.
didn't
And
exist.
I'd like to clarify that still fits in with the name that I'll unveil both my names. One of them
Okay.
was Terminal because I really like the fact it was to do with airports.
Terminal.
Pretty good.
Oh, this one's better. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So-
Uh-oh.
Bated breath.
As soon as someone mentioned John Wick, okay, you ready?
It was you.
It's set in the John Wick universe.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Okay, and it's just called Gatwick. Right.
Sake.
Okay.
Have you just been
Gats,
watching John
parenthesis,
Wick
Wick.
movies?
No, but I feel like that's
Tom is literally face palming.
Oh, Chris, I hate you.
because of how good that
You know what? I love it.
was. Right? There you go. Maybe secretly you're the younger brother of John. You're called Gat. Right?
Shut up.
Hang on a
That's
minute.
it.
This is
And you get sucked
this
into a video game.
this is almost like a backronym. You come up with a title for the game, and now we somehow have to crowbar
No, your
John
name
Wick
is
in there.
Gat. You never
name is
met
Gat.
anyone called
Your name-
Gat before?
Which is also a gun. So it works.
Yes. That's the only gun you're good at.
Sure.
I feel like
Yeah.
you're shitting on my childhood dreams, Chris Yules, okay? I feel like you've
I
taken
came up with
everything I
two-
loved and ruined
How
it.
about we call it Gatwick Terminal?
No.
Well-
no.
I think
Okay.
Terminal is beautiful.
I love
Terminal's
Terminal.
amazing.
However,
Terminal is amazing.
I think Terminal it's a game, right? Like Terminal is a film. I think it's a cool film name, but as a game, I think it needs to be like Terminal, the action movie game.
No,
movie, the vid-
no,
the movie, the
no,
game.
No,
The
no.
Terminal, the movie, the game of
game.
the movie, the game. And that's the thing. There's a movie of Terminal, and then there's a game of that, and then they make a film of that game, and then you make a game of the film of the game of the film,
And then a board
Okay.
Oh
game.
my god! To carry on with the Terminal.
and then a
theme,
card game,
what
deck
if-
slinging.
What if
sake.
not only he's in a terminal, he's killing enemies, but also
Yes.
he's dying. He's
dying.
dying. He's terminal illness. That's how the game starts.
That's why he's only got 24 hours.
The game opens with him talking to a doctor face to face, getting the bad news.
You've got to stop
And
doing
then
the
he leaves
parkour.
hospital. Yeah, if you parkour anymore,
Duh.
you're gonna die.
I can't. Parkour
Phoenix.
for life.
If you keep parkouring,
I
you're
can't
going to
take
only
it
have
anymore.
24 hours to live.
He leaves the hospital. Immediately gets the call from the boss.
We need your
Yeah.
parkour skills.
And he's like, you
Get
know
over
what I'm
here,
going to
Gat.
do with my last day on Earth? Go to work.
Save lives.
Save lives. It's true.
Although that does say that does
Time to
again
save
move
lives
away
and
from
die
Tom's
trying.
brilliant.
Oh my god! And he hacks into terminals.
Nice.
We can have terminals in it, yes.
I think
We
I
can-
just come. I've got the tagline as well because he's dying. It's save lives and die trying because either way, he's
You only
dying.
die.
Either way,
You only die. That's it.
You
you
die.
only die.
There's
Yeah.
no. You only
So-
die twice.
Full stop.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting onto the running theme of what we tend to do every week is get very excited about the big picture of the game, but then forget about maybe some of the mechanics that
The
might be involved.
minutiae.
Like the best thing we've had so far, I think, is what Tom was talking about, like getting better at things like reloading the weapons quicker the more you use them, or that kind of thing.
That's the
Yeah,
only
I think
mechanic I think
so
was really spoken
that's
about.
the only thing we really have at the moment.
I can throw
What
one.
are you
Chris.
talking
I can
about?
throw it in.
We talked about branching dialogue. We talked about like stealth and inventory.
You're right,
My
yeah, sorry.
inventory system. Imagine you've only got
Oh,
like,
that's
you
true.
know, like a
Inventory.
vest, you know, and it's like you've only got like pockets of certain sizes
Do I hear?
and shapes.
Do I hear Tarkov?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
a little bit like
Imagine
Tarkov,
that.
yeah.
Add it to the
Take
list.
that. Tarkov added it to the list.
Yeah, I think the Tarkov style inventory, so you can find a bigger jacket.
Yeah, or
and
like
you
a
can be
better
like, oh, I've got
vest
more
and
po-
like, you know,
yeah,
like
guns.
hip pouches.
But
and-
all of that inventory management has to take place real time in game.
Real
It's like
time.
you have a lobby
Oh,
to
yeah.
do it in. It's
Exactly
all
like
happening.
Tarkov.
But does that mean you have Resident Evil style safe rooms, or is it just no
I think
room
so.
is safe?
No, I think you'd have to,
Okay.
right? Like,
You
like
do in Dead Rising as well.
yeah,
Employee
and
lounge.
you know, Die Hard, like John has his little safe room, like he has like an area where he's safe. Maybe it's not always safe. Maybe it's like safe until like a story point, and then a cutscene is like the bad
Right,
guys
yeah,
storm
yeah.
it, and you've got to find a new one, and then that becomes
Yeah.
your base and
It's
stuff.
like the
The bad guys are like, no, we can't go in there. That is the employee lounge.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Keep out.
we do not have
sign.
first class ticket. Not allowed inside. Only premier lounge business miles flyer. Only them. Good
oh,
buffet.
God. Okay, so do you have any mechanics to add to the table, Alex? Then, if you're shitting on the rest of the game,
Throw hunger.
Fuck,
in-
I mean,
throw hunger
I was
and
hoping
thirst
Chris
in
would
there.
co- Chris is the dev.
Let's
I want
just
him to
throw
come up with
hunger,
something.
and let's make this.
Put survival
Ooh.
Like,
mechanics.
if you ask
that?
me,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
gonna bring
cold.
in the sanity meter.
A
sanity meter,
A
sanitometer.
Sanitometer.
Sanitometer, yeah. Sorry, Chris. The hunger meter.
Sure, why not? Let's just throw
Over
some
what,
rust
3
in there.
hours? You're fine. It's just going to be
I
full
get
the whole
hungry.
time.
I get hungry
Maybe
within 24 hours.
70% by the end of it.
Adrenaline. You'll burn through the calories. You'll be like, oh,
Well,
what
actually,
about
how
for a
long-
Kit Kat?
What
Yeah.
about an adrenaline anemometer? And that's
You
the
have to
higher your
manage that.
adrenalometer, the less
You're
Oh, like
diabetic.
that-
hesitate.
Like that Statham. You're fucking diabetic. Fucking hell, Chris.
And
Gotta manage my insulin.
Because in a lot of games you get the healing syringes. What if you just
They're
I
EpiPens.
need my
Yeah.
insulin. I need it.
fuck's sake. What about that Jason Statham film where he has to keep
Crank.
his adrenaline up or
Crank.
he dies?
Yeah.
Oh, he has to
That's it,
charge
yeah.
himself. He's not the adrenaline.
That's Crank
It's the bit where he
too.
gets.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, the bit where he gets the. he bites. Oh no, he puts the caliper thing on his tongue.
Yeah, it's got the car battery.
Car, yeah, no, charge, yeah, brilliant.
No, I
That
was thinking
movie.
the higher your adrenaline, the less likely you're going to hesitate when you shoot a dude.
That's
You also
true.
shake more.
Yeah, maybe,
You
but
shake
you've got the
more
shakes.
when you're adrenaline.
You can take some diazepam. Steady my nerves.
But you're like, oh, I'm hungry. I need some chocolate, but I've got to balance that because my blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
Got to keep
So
my energy
if-
up, but also
Have you ever played? Have you played Scum? The amount of UI that is in that.
no.
That game is
No.
might as well just be UI, and then there's also an open world like adventure.
Oh, that's
How does
all
that
like
work? Is it like
That's what I'm
Rust?
imagining now. Just bars everywhere, and just
Yeah.
a noise
Okay.
meter. How are you in the
I feel like
shadows?
you're shitting on this game, Chris.
No, I'm
Yeah.
shitting on Scum.
I'm
What about,
shitting on scum?
We could have like in Thief, where you have how visible are you depending on if you're in shadows. You could shoot
Yeah,
out
yeah.
certain lights.
Yeah,
You
oh
can
yeah,
turn off
yeah.
power.
You gotta have all
Shooting
of that
out
stuff
lights.
in. All the best
Noise.
stealth mechanics. Yeah, noise, light effects.
But maybe not
Long
shooting. It would
grass.
have to be something that you have because you're not going to have a silenced weapon, right? I guess
You could do.
It would
You
be
could make one
something
though.
You have
What
near-
if Adam can jury rig a silencer, but it only lasts one shot? Like you get like a
Yeah.
drinks
Techie,
bottle
isn't
and
it?
you like
Yes.
stuff it
Wrap a
with
t-shirt around a thing, yeah.
yeah, and it only
then it
lasts
blows
one
up on
shot.
first
Sounds
shot.
great.
Now, is this
Um,
video game silencers or is this real life silencers? Where
Video
they
game silencers.
actually make a lot of noise still.
No,
Video
video game
Okay,
silencers.
okay.
Like
No,
you
I
can
mean,
fire
you-
it next to a guy and he'd
Just
be
like-
like, "Huh?"
If we're
Yeah.
going for real life, this guy's
Must
dead
have been the
now.
wind.
Another mechanic to throw in because why the hell not? We've got everything in here already. Destructible terrain. Get that siege. Like you can blow out
Yeah.
walls to create like ways through and flooring to collapse underneath people and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I'm trying to think of another game that has that. That's not Siege, so we can add it to the list.
Red Faction has to, that was the
Battlefield.
big one
Red
that
Faction.
had destructible
Red
terrain
Faction,
to begin
yeah.
with.
Oh, Red Faction
Battlefield.
Guerrilla, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the entire
Oh, yeah,
airport is destructible.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
You can. That's
You,
one
you
option.
can end the game by
You
leveling
can
it.
slowly
Oh.
just destroy all the walls until it collapses.
collapses. So the other thing, when I was 15, dreaming of this game, I envisioned the finale takes place on like Air Force One or something that takes off, and you're on the. So the
president's
last
there.
level is like you're on the plane,
siege
and you've
level.
got to make your way through the plane to find the main
So
bad
now
guy.
it's-
Oh, like Call of Duty.
Okay.
The
yeah,
film
yeah. Like Mile High
Write
Club.
that down.
And now it's
Write it down.
add COD.
Yep,
Add
I got
Harrison Ford as the president.
Yes, Air Force One. Exactly. Get off my plane.
So, hang on, is this the set? Is this the objective of the baddies?
just point at the camera. Yeah.
Again, this is an audio only.
Wow.
Well, you can
So, tell I'm doing
the voice for Harrison Ford in the
Well, they must be pointing at the camera.
He is actually pointing at the camera.
do this. Get
So are you imagining this, like, the baddies are basically, their objective is what? Like, they're
Alex,
destroying the airport with a bomb?
Alex, they're video game bad guys. They don't need like fucking
They've
plot.
got
They
a
don't need
bomb and an
motivation.
airport.
They're
That's
back to the
blown
president.
up.
Yeah, they're blowing up an airport, or they're threatening. Well, what if it's like a classic Die Hard, right? Like they've taken hostages and planted explosives, but it's all a smokescreen for something else.
For them to steal Air Force One.
Yeah, they're going to
The
steal
president
on
because
it
he
exactly.
happened. They were like, let's
But it was
keep him on the
unscheduled.
plane on the tarmac while these terrorists are here.
Yeah, but then
it.
they managed
That's
to
a-
get hold of it.
Video game plot.
He's got it. He's done it.
God.
Chris Yules
Because the chef on Air Force One was one
was a
of them
bad guy. Yeah, exactly.
the whole time.
It's a reverse Under Siege.
Oh, and we need to add Hitman to the list.
Hitman. Yep.
That was.
Yeah,
That's
my
very
I feel
yeah,
like
Hitman's very
The
good.
whole throwing a suitcase at them to
Throwing stuff, yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
And like making traps and like stealth and luring people away and all of that stuff. Good Hitman.
I think hiding in a suitcase and like just wheeling yourself along. just
You don't wheel yourself
That's
along.
actually-
You have to run and then you jump into the suitcase and it just
And then
sort
zip
of
it up.
slides down the thing. Yeah.
Hitman
on
is
wheels.
actually a great example because that is like, I know it has multiple levels, but within
Yeah.
each level is a very confined location that's just absolutely packed
With
full of
stuff.
shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is a very small map. Well, it's an airport, but
Each zone is a small map, but they're
Molotov
connected.
cocktails with the perfumes. You know.
Yeah. And
all the
duty
good
free.
shit.
You go duty free and you're just packing Jack Daniels with like rags to use as Molotovs.
oh my god,
You
So-
take refuge in a Dixon's or a Curry's.
So I think it's about time we get Mark. Are you
Right.
able to give a recap of what Terminal, the ultimate action game,
Starring Gatwick.
starring
Still want
Gatwick,
Gatwick.
Not
is
far
now?
Gatwick.
Because I feel like instead of taking a drastic turn and turning this into a totally different game, we've just basically just packed this with references, right?
We've made a whole
more stuff.
franchise.
This is it. Terminal is
We've
the
got a
next
movie.
biggest
This is
franchise.
Terminal, the movie, the game.
Yeah. Oh my god. The movie
Right.
of the game, which is also a film.
It's like Fast and Furious.
All right, so
Next
can
we're
you give
going
us
to
a
space.
rundown?
So a recap then. So you play as Adam Phoenix, the newest rookie on the LA bomb squad.
He's just
Yeah.
rereading the script from the
Yeah,
beginning.
I am rereading this from the beginning. This game is a mixture of Die Hard meets Half-Life meets Deus Ex meets Metal Gear 2 meets Dead Rising meets Far Cry 3 meets Oblivion meets Medal of Honor meets Siege meets Thief 2 meets Dying Light meets 24 meets Tarkov meets Red Faction Battlefield meets Call of Duty Modern Warfare meets Hitman. It has a detailed Tarkov-like inventory system where you need to juggle your inventory of traps and components. There's a sanity meter because the amount of people you kill depends on how toughened you are. There's a skill tree system where you pick between Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Keanu Reeves of the style of gameplay you want to play. There's Adam Phoenix has a photographic memory that allows you to construct a mind palace map of like enemy locations and intel. You can hack into enemy radios. There's branching dialogue with everybody you come across, including enemies as well as your squad back at base. There's destructible terrain.
Dating sim.
And a dating sim
Dating
as
sim.
well. Yeah, you have to reconnect with your ex-girlfriend, or you can hit on the bad guys or the chief if you
Yeah.
really want to. Dishonored is another one we forgot in the list of meats.
Oh, yeah.
Dishonored.
And you can have there's a sanity meter.
Yep, got
Yeah,
that
that
one
was
in.
it.
Yep,
Just
stealth.
like
Where,
Amnesia.
where did we come on
Stealth
the
mechanics.
whole diabetes thing? Is
that
a no?
I think that's a no
No,
on that
okay.
one, Chris Yules. I think on the
Right, we'll
diabetes.
save that for the sequel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's in. Oh, and you're dying.
You
You
have
have 24 hours.
as well. You are dying. You are dying. Added that onto my document. Coming next summer, the blockbuster hit Terminal.
Summer
The movie, the game.
2045.
Terminal.
The
Man,
ultimate
I tell you
action
what,
game of the movie.
If any game devs are listening and this game fucking comes out, I'm gonna be so mad but so happy at the same time.
No, well, we've got a game dev listening, and it's time to ask you, Chris, would you make this game?
I would, but I wouldn't know where to fucking start.
No, I was gonna say.
I mean, this is absurd. I feel like this is just like no one could ever make this game, right? But maybe that's fine. Maybe that's what
This feels like a
podcast is
CD
about.
Projekt Red.
no, this is the white whale of
Ubisoft
game development.
meets,
Yeah, this
like,
is it. This is what they
everyone.
should be looking for. This is what they should be striving for.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my god, this is the ultimate. We always talk about feature creep, and somehow we never mentioned it in this episode.
This is feature creep the game. Like,
I mean,
this is what we like.
It started
It's
off as
combination-
Feature Creep the game before you guys even got involved because 15-year-old Mark was like, I want this mechanic, and I want this mechanic, and I want this mechanic.
Yeah.
Do you know what this reminds me of? Is that who's the guy who created Deus Ex? It's Warren Spector, and they did the Bioshock stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
So he said apparently that, I'm paraphrasing, but like his perfect idea of an RPG would be one that is just set in a single apartment block. Because
right.
then you would just pack that. You could go in every room. You could speak to every person. Something that is just so fully featured.
Well, that's what Human Revolution was. It was on it was praised for its map design because it's super, super tight compared to the previous like Deus Ex games or even other open world games of that style, where there's like the town is not that big. It takes like 2 minutes to walk across it, but it's multi-leveled and you can talk to everybody. And it's super, super. It's like, wide as an ocean, deep as a puddle. This was wide as a puddle, deep as
an ocean.
Well, that's the
like
problem
that.
a lot of RPG games fail with is the filler in the middle. You notice stuff missing. You're like, why is there like one tree in the middle of a field? You're like, well, that's what they could. That all they had left to like use.
Yeah.
But
And the thing is with a game like this, like it's not open sandbox. It's still quite linear in a kind of like Uncharted style. Like, right, this is you're not on rails as such, but the location is
Dead
locked
Rising
to.
style.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're still contained within this airport. But it's just what you can do in those levels is quite open, and you've got a lot of freedom of choice within
Yeah,
that.
it's got all the classics. You need certain key cards to get through certain doors.
Exactly. It's like your progression is
Yeah.
limited by, the
Hide the
game's
bodies.
pace. Yeah.
There's a lot of bodies in suitcases just going around on the carousel. You're like,
Yeah. Oh, God, that's such a perfect
Setting off the
mechanic.
metal detectors.
oh,
hiding
and like
bodies
they
in
put them through the
suitcases.
X-ray machine. There's just a corpse in there. And just
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
hang on a second.
You know that
You know what,
someone
I
would
was-
make a video of like the character just standing watching a metal detector, and like for 5 minutes it's just body after body after body going
Yeah.
through the X-ray machine.
Think great marketing. Think of all the YouTube videos
Yeah.
people would make,
I was
Perfect.
thinking that this was just completely over the top and impossible to make, but thinking
now.
about it, like, but I mean, like,
What
Red Dead
changed?
2 came out the other year,
Exactly.
and that is, think of all the shit they've put into that.
Yeah.
This actually,
It's
like,
doable.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like fucking sure. I mean, like Chris, I know you would want to make it. And you have the most experience out of all of us. In theory, is it even possible? Like, do you think this is just absolutely ridiculous?
Anything's possible if you throw enough money at it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But you'd have to find someone to throw
on
the money
modern
at it.
Somebody
Like,
like
I don't
Rockstar or Ubi or
I-
somebody like that, they could
I
do
think
it.
they would
Rockstars.
automatically just be like,
Rockstar's Terminal.
this is insane.
Yeah.
but then it'll be there.
This is insane.
You give them the pitch, and they're like, "There's no way, no chance," and then they sleep on it, and they're like,
They'd go
3
home
a.m.
and be like,
They wake up.
"Oh,
Their
that'd be
wives
really
like,
fucking good though.
"But what if we did this?"
And
then, like-
diabetic.
And then, like,
Dad,
10
come
years
to bed.
later, 10 years later, like, it wouldn't be called Terminal. It would be the exact same game. But they've worked on it for so
It would be called
long.
Gatwick.
Yeah, it would be called
It'd be
Gatwick.
called Gatwick.
And you've got no credit for it. But you know that your game exists.
I'd be happy with it, to be honest. If I can play this game one day, I'd be like, yep, I made it.
I don't know.
You
I was
made
thinking
son.
about it. If
Oh my
someone
God.
took a game from this episode, from any episode of this podcast, and changed the name and made it and gave me no credit, I'd be furious. Even if I loved the game, even if I'm so happy that the game exists, I would be livid.
I'm just having game ideas about airports now. I've just come up with a great one. Which I think
Airports is a great
this
place
could be a
for like,
great
stuff.
game on its own. I just want to. This is my mini pitch. I'm pitching
Sure.
for once.
Wow.
Okay?
Okay.
Oh,
It's a
rare.
dating sim, right? But you have you seen the film The Terminal with
The Terminal
Tom
with
Hanks, amazing
great
film.
film. So he obviously meets Catherine Zeta-Jones' character, but I feel like you have to fit people in around their schedules, right? And it's just called LAX, right?
LAXXX.
No, Tom. X is spelled EX.
Tom.
And it's an airport dating sim.
So you're
Jesus
somebody who
Christ,
works at the airport and
Yeah,
you're
because you're
meeting
just
up
trying to-
with all these
yeah.
people.
But you have time limits because they have to go off and catch connection
Their
flights. and-
flights. Oh, that's genius.
There you
I
go.
love that.
Someone's going to make that.
So is this a new franchise? But the franchise isn't based around Adam Phoenix. It's based around the
Airports.
airport. It's just
Yes,
different
that's
things
it.
happening in the airport.
Yeah, that's
One
it.
of
It's
it-
the
one of them
Terminal
happens to be-
franchise. Yeah. And then you
There'll
can
be
have
one
like
game where you
Terminal.
play as his ex,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
and you see the other side.
And then if you wanted to do like a sci-fi game in the future, you could have Terminal 30XDX or something like that, or 3099, and it's about a
The
space
distant future,
airport. Exactly.
year 2000.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so Chris, you can't make it. You would play it, I assume.
Yeah. Because I'll be like, what is this game? I want to play this to
Everything.
find out its secrets.
I don't think we've had anyone on this podcast who's dared to dream quite as big. So I feel like we're all a bit
Yeah, this is the
flabbergasted.
first real AAA game. The thing
This is what I do.
I think it's really cool. I don't think I would play it because it would take like 30 hours to get through the tutorial of just all of these different things.
It's just parkouring for
Tom,
15
the whole
of it.
game is the tutorial for the sequel.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
pick. Oh my God!
Set in a train station.
Terminal 2, the actual game.
Terminal 2. Choo choo.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
amazing.
retroactively named the first one the tutorial. So this game is Terminal 1, the tutorial.
Terminal, the movie, the game, the tutorial.
Yeah, good luck fitting that into the episode title, Alex.
All right, sure, fantastic. All right, well, I mean, I would play the fuck out of it. It
Yeah,
sounds
right,
incredible. So I think that's probably a good time to leave it. Thank you very much, Mark. That's
You're
been
more
a
than
fantastic
welcome.
pitch. Thanks very much, Chris. Thank you very much, Tom. As always,
Thank
obviously.
you.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.